Namaskar. In our series of GFR 2017, today we are going to see rule number 144, Fundamental Principles of Public Buying for all procurements including procurement of works. Works is building, construction, all those things. Every authority delegated with the financial powers of procuring goods in public interest shall have the responsibility and accountability to bring efficiency, economy, and transparency in matters relating to public procurement and for fair and equitable treatment of suppliers and promotion of competition in public procurement. See, actually, delegation of financial power we already discussed. So, whoever is delegated power upward, suppose certain authority is given power, full power, then he can buy anything. He has to only justify on file why it is purchased for office. But the decision should be reasonable and accountability. When you decide, it is open-ended, but you are accountable to what you decided to buy. Okay. So when you buy, it is in public interest. Number one is the purchase of goods is in public interest. The public interest thing I have already told. Say, what is that? You might feel, suppose you buy some item for your office. What way it serves the public interest? Public are not directly benefited in that. Then where is the question of public interest? This question I have discussed in earlier videos also. No, your office, overall function, whichever office you say, is working for the benefit of the public. Then question arises, income tax department, what public interest do you have? You are taking money, that is you are levying money on people who earn and collect money. Yes, there again there is a public interest because this money is going to be used by the government for the welfare of the people. So for collection of tax, whatever is required for your office, whatever you buy is in public interest because suppose you need certain machineries or certain software to identify the fund flow, etc. Yeah, with that you are trying to find out there is no loophole in the transactions. There is no evasion of tax. Everything you are seeing. So the officer has to go and sit in an office to see the file, check the account and all. So he needs stable chair. Yeah, it is in public interest because he has to sit there and check the accounts and correct all those assessment, etc., whatever it is. So he needs all those supporting things. So it is in public interest because the officer is working for the department which pays him a salary and the department is collecting tax, etc., and remits into government. The government is spending that money for the public. This is the revenue department. So this is public interest. You take rural development. So they give farmers some facility, rural employment schemes, Manreka, and rural cleanliness, many things. They give grant or do all those things. For that, to do that, you need office. The people will sit together and do the work. And whatever you buy for the work of the ministry, department, whatever you buy serves the purpose of your work. So it is in public interest because the ministry is working for the public interest, rural people interest. So that way you have to calculate. So the procuring authority has the responsibility and accountability to bring efficiency. You can't simply, spend. No, you can't do. What you did is in an efficient manner of purchase. And economy, you can't waste the money. So it cannot be more than the occasion demands. And transparency, there is no scope for opaque system. Whatever you do should be open to the people who are involved in that. So suppose some 10 people are participating in the tender. Some information is, something are given only to 2-3 people. Remaining people are kept in the dark. No, it is not transparent. Out of the 10 parties, one party knows something about what we do. Everybody should know what we do. It is equal. Then it is transparency. Transparency does not mean you just throw away all your files. No. The relevant people are equitably given the information. That is transparency. in matters relating to public procurement and for fair and equitable treatment of suppliers. Why? So there should be no scope for bias. Every dealer, every seller has the right. He has to fit in our requirement. That's all. If he fits in, number can be any number. You can't stop that. When it is open tender, you can't limit the maximum number also. So similarly situated people should be having equal opportunity and equitable treatment by the procuring authority. You can't prefer somebody for, final decision is based on the quality and the rate that we are discussing. Otherwise it is equitable. Everybody is given equitable treatment. And promotion, that is given because to ensure competition in the public. The competition should be valid, healthy, and all those things. So that the party who sells the item might think that there are a lot of competition. Without incurring loss, I can reduce my price. So you do it efficiently, you get in a lesser rate with high quality also. High quality, I will discuss that point also, because quality, when you say the benchmark, beyond that you can't give special consideration and all. We will discuss that point. So now the procuring authority has got responsibility to answer. He has full right to decide within his powers, but he is accountable to explain when there is a question. Okay. The procedure to be followed in making public procurement must conform to the following yardstick. What are those yardsticks? Let us see. 1. The description of the subject matter of procurement to the extent possible or practicable should be objective, functional, generic. You can't say only this brand I need. That is wrong. That you are supporting only that brand. Exception we will discuss separately. And measurable. So you describe something which cannot be measured. On what basis then they will quote? This is the weight or height or whatever weight is it. So it is measurable. And also specify technical and qualitative and performance characteristics. So when you prepare the tender document, you have to read all these things, you have to keep in mind and then prepare the tender document. Quotation, you call for quotation, all these things you have to keep in mind and prepare. And your description should not indicate the requirement for a particular trademark, which I have already discussed, trade name or brand. Exception we will discuss separately, not here. Exception is there, not as a general purchase. The specifications in terms of quality, type, etc., as also quantity of goods to be procured, should be clearly spelled out. You see this is the quality I need. So you have to give those things under. But why you should give quantity also? It is required. Suppose you buy only one item. The seller will, like, whatever is overhead cost, packing, forwarding, all those he has to include. You buy 100 items. So you will go for some discount. But he is giving a lot of discount. So you buy 1,000 items and keep in office. That also you can't do, because you are wasting government money before it is actual use. And maintaining those items you purchased, which are not going to be used immediately, will cost government again, because otherwise that will go waste. You have to maintain in a proper manner. So what is required, that you have to work out. How will you work out the requirement? Simple. First thing is, how frequently you need that item. So you require every day? Okay. And how many days it takes to complete your procurement of that item? So let us say 2 months. So you should have stock to handle at least 2 to 2.5 months. Because when you start now for procurement process, you take 2 months. So before it comes, if you exhaust everything, office running will be a problem. So you should have some 2 to 3 months period stock, provided the stocks which are purchased are not perishable. If they are perishable, you can't keep for 3 months. So you have to work out accordingly. So it is all, it cannot be subjective. You have to see the ground requirement and then take a decision with the approval of the competent authority, who is the procuring authority, who has power with the financial matters. Same thing applies here. Okay. So quality, quantity also we are saying. Quantity should be economic, to ensure economic. And see, if you say only one, and somebody, only one party, some 10 people have quoted. Among them, only one party knows that you are going to buy 10 items. So other people do not know. So it is not wrong now. You quoted one. So you can't buy beyond that unless you have to justify why you are buying more. Otherwise there is a scope for corruption. So the 10th guy who knows you are going to buy 10, he will give automatically discount in anticipation of that you are going to buy 10, and though you have indicated in the tender as only one item you are buying. So the quantity has to be properly worked out and notified. Quality anyway, if you can't buy lesser quality, because lesser quality will lead to problem, functional problem. So you will specify, for that you will put a committee. Committee will decide what quality and what quantity you have to buy, everything. Okay. Now, so what we discussed is quantity and quality we have discussed. The specifications so worked out should meet the basic needs of the organization without including superfluous and non-essential features which may result in unwarranted expenditure. So basic feature to run the office properly. Whatever you need, you can do it. So I am window dressing, all those things. Now where it is required, you have to justify why you need that window dressing. You should say, yeah, foreign dignitaries are coming, so we can't show that we are very poor people and all, so we need some decoration also. Nothing wrong, but rational justification. So it can't be used everywhere, that's all. So superfluous item, non-essential item have to be removed. In one place it may be non-essential. In another occasion it may become essential, then you have to buy. So you have to see the situation, each and every occasion, why it is required here. Can we justify this purchase? Yes, there is no issue if you can justify. Okay. Where applicable, the technical specification shall, to the extent practicable, be based on the national technical regulations. Normally, take the case of computers. Now, electronic department gives, even NIC, gives some certain specification. So that is a standard. They periodically change it. So you can buy that. And take the works done by CPWD. They fix a standard. We have to go by the standard. Wherever the standard is not there, then you have to, even if international standard is there, you can do it. There's nothing wrong. And but where national standards are given, you have to follow that without fail. So for specification. So the government says it's not that you have to break your head and do. You take the national standard fixed and use it. That's all. And take the case of government of India funded projects implemented in foreign countries abroad. The technical specification may be framed based on the requirements and standards of the host beneficiary government where such standards exist. Suppose you do some project in Sri Lanka or in some African countries or even European countries, Arabian countries. So they have certain standards set. You adopt that and do it because you have to satisfy the beneficiary government also. So that is why they give no, we have our Indian standard, we will do only that. You don't need to say, okay, it's not applicable to all the people, but those who do projects outside India, this has to be taken into account. Provided that a procuring entity may, for the reasons to be recorded in writing, adopt any other technical specification. So now you have to give reason. You are deviating from the standard set. For the particular occasion, it is not fit, you feel. You have a committee also feels that no, we have to have a different thing. You justify. So government is very reasonable. Don't do wrong thing. Bona fide, whatever you do, with no hidden agenda, yes, you can always safeguard yourself. People are afraid because there is a thin line of demarcation. You can't, many other people cannot understand which will be questioned, which will not be questioned. Because my experience I will tell now. In our department, before the onset of GEM and all, our NIC used to have a approved rate and approved vendor. They will normally the rates will be valid for 1 year, extendable by the department, our headquarters. Why I am telling is the people will think certain things wrongly. That is why I am making this comment. And that approved rate can be used by all the state. It is finalized in Delhi following the tender process, open tender process, and they will notify the rate with the period of validity, party, etc. Everything. That we can use state level and directly place orders with, again you don't need, because it is already approved vendor, approved rate after following the tender process. So only procuring authority's approval you are taking and placing orders directly. I was in one South India office. The vendor was somewhere near Delhi or somewhere. So for an urgency we purchased at that, these are more than 20 years old. Some boxes of floppies we ordered. And we ordered in February, and March first week or so the items came. Assuming that it came on 5th of March. The stock entry, everything was made by the stores in charge, and bill was given to me the 6th. The same day I processed. Same day I got approval of head of office. The same day I got the DD drawn in favor of the. At this point of time you have to pay by check or DD only. Now online payment has come. I drew the DD from bank, and the next day it was dispatched by speed post or whatever it is. So within 2 days we made the payment. There is nothing wrong. The reason we were hurrying up was our accounts were closed in the mid of March itself. So before that I have to complete, otherwise this expenditure cannot be met, it will go into the next year's budget. About labs and all we already discussed. Unfortunately the box, after 2-3 months the officer reports it is missing from the stores. How it missed and all, yes. So there was a big enquiry on those things. And the officer, administrative side officer who was above me, and the committee which came for preliminary investigation raised the question why the payment was made immediately. What is the reason that within 2 days everything was done? I was surprised to have that question. I said, is it a sin to do faster? First thing is, if it is local tender, etc., their doubt would be more, all the more. It is all, the background, if you see, everything supports us. Because it is all decided by headquarters, the rates are there. Party is something like what the present is gem mechanism, because we don't know who is the party. The party is known to headquarters team who finalize in the sense through tender process, not personally knowing it. And outside Delhi, nobody would have seen the party. And the moment it came with all the stock and etc., we processed for payment. So the question is, is it a sin for making payment against invoice, valid certified invoice with approval etc. immediately? I made the payment immediately because our accounts are closing within the next 4-5 days. And I have to complete the work. So I was giving priority to all the bills which I receive or whichever were pending. So what is wrong in it, I raised. Okay, they left it, but that sort of question they made. So these sort of people, okay, further they didn't do anything. When people face such situation, they say, why we should have all these questions? No, accountability, as long as you do things above board, there is no hidden agenda, there is no corruption. You should say confidently that what is wrong, we are making payment immediately, it is right only. Okay, the inquiry went into many other things and they couldn't find out the item. It went off for some more time, responsibility, everything came. What I am telling is, so when you buy the thing, the decision was taken by procuring authority that this money has to be purchased. So we processed everything. So nothing wrong. Question cannot be raised on that. So as long as you have valid reasons and it is acceptable one, nobody can question. And so the procuring authority should be satisfied that the selected offer adequately meets the requirement in all respects. 1. 2. Quantity you can't buy extra we already purchased, because it will be wasting the space and maintenance cost, all those things. And government money is spent before it is required to be spent. That is again wrong. You can't spend in advance also. Okay. Procuring authority should satisfy that the price of the selected offer is reasonable and consistent with the quality required. The reasonable certificate is another issue we will discuss in detail. Normally, a person who sits newly, how will he find out the reasonability certificate? Number one, if you go by the tender with a wide publicity, finally you get some minimum 5-6 offers, in that the lowest with your benchmark level specification, and you get some rate. That is the lowest rate is the first factor to say it could be reasonable. Then you have to see, if it is a first time purchase, you can't do anything, and a new product, altogether new product. But if it is not first time purchase in government itself altogether, but is a new invention, there it is slightly difficult. You have to go by the whatever rate that comes. Otherwise, the last purchase price, when it was purchased last year, and if it is same rate, accept. If it is some 5% difference, nothing wrong. If it is more than 5%, why it is more than 5%? Why it is 20% different? There is some tax duty increase or raw material increase. All those you have to factor in. Suppose you purchased it 5 years ago, you can't compare. If it is same price and it is in the tender lowest price, etc., there is no problem, and it is nominally increased, then you give allowance for inflation, because raw material cost will have value on price also. So the price reasonability is a kind of open-ended things, and a person again of ordinary prudence, who is ordinary prudence man, but he does things intelligently. So you try to find out in other mechanism. Suppose your department buys now only, but other departments have bought. You can always send a reference, what was the total cost involved in this, etc., to the department to get some basic information. With that, you have to work out the price reasonability. Price reasonability is a kind of open-ended. So given the situation, you have to collect all the data, and minor variation should not create any problem. You can always justify. What is minor again? 5%, 10%. After 1 year, why it is 10% increase? Okay, there is inflation. They will give reasons, all those things. And okay, those things you have to keep in account. So, but reasonability certificate has to be given by the procuring authority. Here the hitch. So, procuring authority will depend on his committee. The committee will be drawn from various experts, technical experts, financial experts, and administrative experts. So they will sit together and arrive at a decision given the situation. So it can't be same everywhere. So the underlining thing is, our approach is honest. We don't waste the money unnecessarily. Okay. So what I have given is not a complete background. What I said now, similarly we have to examine various factors to come to the price reasonability level and give that certificate. Okay. And next, at each stage of procurement, the concerned procuring authority must place on record in precise terms the consideration which weighed with it while taking the procurement decision. Why we have decided this? The committee, tender evaluation committee or technical committee, purchase committee, whichever committee for that matter, they will give complete reason why they have come to this decision. So they are justifying. So that will be approved by the procuring authority. He takes the responsibility also. Okay, if he doesn't approve, he can raise question. Why you are not seeing this particular factor or whatever it is. So now Not only that, you have to make a complete schedule of procurement cycle from the date of issuing the tender to the date of issuing the contract should also be published in the tender. So there should be no scope. That is what is called transparency. What you are going to do at every stage. On this date, this is going to be done. Next level, this is done. Everything. First, request for proposal, pre-bid meeting or whatever, collecting the information, giving responsibility. And if they ask for any extension, the committee will examine and refix the date. All those things. So at what stage you will be buying, until which year will be, or which month will be buying. Everything we have to indicate because the tender will be valid for the period we will say. So all these things we have to give in the tender document. All ministries and departments shall prepare annual procurement plan before the commencement of the year, and the same should be placed on their website. This is again transparency. The probable suppliers can prepare for their tender also. So everybody knows. So transparency. So the more you have transparency, the better it is for honest level of procurement. We will see. These are all basic principles. Next video I think we will go for tender GEM and other tender process, etc. Thank you.